Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the January 27th Lebanon Board of Works meeting. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance. Bill, will you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we proceed to the roll call, I do want to welcome our new member, Judge McClure. Thank you for joining us on the Board of Works. Appreciate your continued service to our community. So with that, we'll move on to the roll call members. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Mayor Gentry.
Present.
Becky McClure. Present. Bill Stoner.
Present.
Dick Robertson.
Present.
Alan Milburn.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting. Are there any changes to the minutes? Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I make a motion we approve the minutes.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And we'll have Judge, you abstaining because you were not present. Is that fair? Okay. Now we'll head on to department head reports. First up is Police Department, Chief Morgan.
Good evening. So in the last 2 weeks, Lebanon Police Department's responded to 712 calls for service. A total of 23 people were arrested for the following crimes: 6 for driving while suspended, 4 for operating while intoxicated, 4 for possession of marijuana, 2 for unlawful possession of a syringe, 1 for possession of meth, 1 for possession of a controlled substance, 1 for public intoxication, 1 for resisting law enforcement, 1 for domestic battery, 1 for driving, never received a license, 1 for a warrant. In that same time frame, 10 handgun carry permits were sent off to the state for final approval. Then on January 17th, several of our officers participated in Coffee with the Cop at Titus Donuts. This is a nationally recognized program that brings police officers and citizens together. It gives the people opportunity to meet the police officers in a decent environment where, you know, they're not being detained or anything like that. So it went over really well. Several officers participated, and we're hoping to expand this to several other places in our community, give people a chance to come up and meet our officers and ask them questions if they want. On January 22nd and 23rd, Major Bales, Captain Wormuth, Captain Dickerson, Sergeant Fuston, and Officers Hampshire and Kamaj all attended peer support and mentoring training hosted by the Brownsburg Police Department. This training will help us develop a mentoring program of our own. The mentoring program helps teach officers how to deal with the everyday stresses that go along with law enforcement, and also helps guide them through their career. That way we can get good officers that stay. Finally, we're still in the hiring process. Last Saturday, we sent 19 people for the exam, for the written exam. We haven't got the results back from it yet. We're hoping to wrap this up by the end of March, and that's for 2 spots for patrol officers. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief from the board?
No.
Any questions from the public? Okay, apparently our entire fire department is down with an illness, so they will not be here tonight. So next up will be Parks Department. John Messenger.
Well, you're going to stay away from the fire department,
Yeah,
then, that's for sure, I'm telling you. Good evening. We are now hiring for Seashore Water Park lifeguards. There again, check our website for an application or stop into the parks office, pick up one. We must be 15 years or older to apply. We just completed our first round of open interviews this past Saturday. Had a real nice turnout. Finally getting some kids from Western Boone in, and they're again from Lebanon. We'll be continuing our open interviews on February the 15th from 10 to 3 in the park office. Anybody there, again, 15 years or older. We have about 15 to 16 openings this year, so sure like to hear from everybody that needs a job out there. Get your kids, grandkids, kick them out there. It's a great job, great opportunity to start in the working world. We are making great progress on our projects going on around the park. There again, our restrooms moving along real well. We're way ahead of schedule, thanks to this great weather that we've had. But we also are focusing on a couple of projects we have going on right now at Civic Rec. software, which is going to really help out our website and everything, and getting the word out, and also collecting the monies online. It's going to be really nice. I think the mayor, we've gone over that a few times, and Tanya. There again, we also are working on our park impact fees, and we're ahead of schedule on it. There again, I'll probably be presenting something in May, June to the council to move forward on that. Really looking forward to that. A lot of hard work going in on that. Appreciate Ben Bontrager and all his hard work on helping us with that. Also excited to announce our 2020 Daddy-Daughter Dance, Saturday, March 21st from 6 to 9, with snacks, dancing, and a special appearance by Olaf and Elsa. I think we all know who that is. Tickets are $20 a couple and $5 additional for a child. Tickets can be purchased in the park office. That's one of our biggest events that we have all year, and looking forward to that. They're already knocking the doors down for that, and it's a great event, held out at the high school. Nice environment, and just a great time to get out with your daughter, with your dad or your grandfather, whatever you can do, get out there. We are also very excited to announce we've teamed up with Let's Go Sports to provide 3 new programs: Tiny Rackets, Junior Rackets, and Lacrosse Camp. Sessions will be held throughout our various parks. For more information, contact our website or the park office. And that the little tennis rackets, that's going real well. Already filled up a couple classes.
Yeah.
That's all I had, and I think, Mayor, you volunteered to help out with lacrosse, if I wasn't mistaken, so
If
there you
my
go.
knees can hold up, yeah, I may be able to swing by. Yeah.
That'd be great. No, it's a good program. We've had a lot of success with the soccer program, and they have these others now that we've tried them out a couple of years. Going to try that with tennis, and it's really going over well, so that's all I had.
Any questions for John from the board? Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next up is Engineering Department, Kevin Krulik.
Good evening, board members. Engineering report for tonight. Sorry, 1 second, cooperating with the technology here. Looks like I usually print off my reports, but looks like I printed off the last report. So, here we go. Report for the 27th of January from the Engineering Department. Updates on the downtown stuff. Obviously, I mentioned last time I was here, there's not a lot left to do downtown. I am happy to report, though, that since we last met, the trash cans, the benches, the planters over on State Road 39 on 11th Street, those did all show up. So happy to see those. The only thing really missing on that side of the street that is obvious is the street lights. There are 2 street lights that are still about 6 to 8 weeks out and being delivered. The infrastructure, the wiring is all there. As soon as those come in, those will be installed, and the lights will be on. That will include, the lights will turn back on that are on the traffic light poles along 39 as well. Those are all on the same circuit. And for some that have asked, the buckets with the temporary 2-hour parking signs, we put those out so that we could enforce the parking laws that are in place. As soon as those traffic lights go up, the 2-hour parking limit signs will go back on the light poles. So, and those buckets will go away. Work expected, really at this point, there's not a whole lot left, but there are a few things that left to be done in the spring. There's some Washington Street tree lawn fencing that has to be installed. There's also some tree and shrub replacements that will be all on warranty based on punch list at the end of the year. And then the only thing really substantial we have to do is the Meridian Street sidewalk segment along the west side of the Heflin building. And then once that is done, we will resurface Meridian Street for that block south of Main to the intersection of 32, and that will complete things. I remind everyone that the Heart of Lebanon is still updating their Facebook page daily with the construction. Most of those updates are related to the work on the courthouse that is still ongoing by the county. They have poured all their concrete at this point and be wrapping that project up just as weather allows. There are some decorative bollards that come into play that I know are on order but won't be here till later in the spring. So that work is moving forward. Indianapolis Avenue, not a lot going on down there as well, waiting till the weather breaks, but I am happy to report, kind of a bit of a surprise, the contractor had a window last week and came in and installed most of the street lighting. Was not on the schedule, not expected, but obviously we weren't going to turn them down when they show up and want to work and do that under traffic and keep traffic open. So all those streetlight poles have now been, most of those streetlight poles have been installed. There's a couple more left to go. But then we'll wait till the spring to see a lot of the driveway work, driveway approaches, sidewalks, landscaping, final signage, striping, and final surfacing on the asphalt to be completed. Pavement resurfacing update, really no updates to provide at this point that you haven't heard before. We're really just waiting on the NDOT contract to come back. As soon as that is in place, then that is what sets up our purchase orders to get our funding from the state, and the contractor will then be issued their notice to proceed. All the contracts on our side of the table with the contractor and with NDOT are complete. We're just waiting on NDOT to send those back to us. Keep in mind that will leave us with about $325,000 that we'll have for additional street programs, working with Mr. Newell to develop those, our patching programs, our sealing programs, as well as we're going to restripe a few streets this year. So a lot more work to be done this year. All in all, we're going to spend just short of $2 million on our street network. Grant Street, we had our field check meeting last week. That is the meeting that we have with all the utility providers with the state of Indiana, just to review the existing set of plans that are probably at about a 30% set, and review any potential conflicts, any potential coordination issues that have to be addressed as we move towards finalizing those plans. So it was a good meeting. We had a lot of participation in that, and we're just moving forward with those efforts. At this point, I think it will be good for us to go ahead and schedule a public information meeting for the residents that live along the corridor to let them know what's going on. We have a pretty substantial set of plans that they can view and understand what that looks like. So we'll look to schedule that sometime in February and update the public on that. Keep in mind that this is still on pace for a July of 2022 letting through the state of Indiana. That wouldn't put it eligible for construction really until 2023.
And just to find the scope of that for me too, I know you said Grant Street. What are the bounds of that for me?
Correct. It's from Grant Street it's Grant Street from Washington Street north to and including the intersection of Fordyce. There is also a piece of Williams Street from Grant to Bridge 311. It's the county's bridge that we will redo as well, and that's primarily to create a stormwater outlet for the Grant Street project. On that note, the Williams Street Bridge was scheduled for construction this summer. The county only got one bid on that, and it was substantially higher than what they expected, so they are going to rebid that later in the year and try to do that in 2021 now. Okay. So, yeah, no real change as far as that affects us. As I said, we're still looking at a 2022 letting and a 2023 construction.
Can I ask a question on that? I mean, the delay on the Williams Street Bridge is not really impacting the Grant Street project. We were just trying to kind of coordinate that together, and that's been slipped, but it's not a major issue.
There's no issue there that's affecting the Grant Street project, no issue that has delayed the Grant Street project. Our project is completely separate funding. We're not really able to even package our projects together. And that letting date was set by NDOT 2 years ago, and that's just where that stands. It's 2022 for letting, 2023 for construction. And Yeah, we were trying to work with the county to possibly put some of our storm sewer in the bridge project so that it seemed natural for it to go in with the bridge. It is not under the bridge by any means, it's just adjacent to the bridge. But that was also, we think, part of what complicated their bidding process. It added more trades to their job. So we're going to remove that out. It's already in our current scope of work for NDOT. We'll just put that back into our set of construction plans for when we bid the work.
Thank you.
Yes. You're welcome. On to other projects. The Lebanon Bike Park project is moving forward. We're real excited about tomorrow. Tomorrow is our community workshop. So that's tomorrow, Tuesday, January 28th, 6 p.m. in this room, or the room behind us, I should say. We will be conducting that community workshop. We invite all of the community to come out and participate in that. We want this to be the city's bike park, and so we want to hear from everyone that's interested in using that facility, and that's the young at heart. Really, there'll be something for all ages in this facility. So I will remind everyone that's tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. We hope you all come out and join us. We have had a really good amount of traffic on this issue. Our Facebook post about the public workshop has reached over 20,000 people. Those are people that go across Illinois, across Ohio, down into Kentucky. There's a lot of interest in this. We've also had it shared over 90 times, and the actual event that was put on Facebook for the public open house has 200 people saying they're interested or going to that event. So I know this is social media. That doesn't mean we will get 200 people here tomorrow night, but that's a pretty good turnout. If we got a quarter of that, if we got 50 people in the room, that'd be a bigger turnout than we get for most planning study related issues. So we're excited to see what happens tomorrow night. Invite you all out to participate in that. You may have got invites for a full day of meetings on this. I do want to let everyone know we aren't expecting everyone that got those invites to come out and spend 4 hours in the cold walking around in the mud with us. You're more than welcome to. We'd be happy to have you join us. But really, we just wanted to make sure everyone on this board and on city council knew what was going on. Again, we would love for you to participate in that, but participate as much as you feel is necessary. We would love to see your support at the meeting tomorrow night, though. And the same goes with our council members.
Have you thought about doing a drone flyover while you're there?
We are doing that, yes. The designer is bringing in a drone. We're also working with Lebanon Utilities. They have some of the neat toys down there that can track routes through the woods once we start to figure out where bike paths may want to be. So we're going to map those out and have that information for the designers to take back with them. But tomorrow night's going to be a fun night, a lot of interaction with the community. We're going to hand out copies of the site, and we're going to let people draw their own bike park and try to understand what everyone wants in a bike park there. So we invite everybody to participate. A lot of stakeholders involved in this, groups like the National Interscholastic Cycling Association, the Hoosier Mountain Bike Association, the Tippecanoe Mountain Bike Association, Griffin Bike Park in Terre Haute, Indiana. They're excited about expansion of trails in the state, and they're wanting to help us get our park off the ground. The Sundance Mountain Bike Skills Clinic, the Dino Mountain Bike Racing Circuit, various other bike shops. We've even received interest from national bike parts manufacturers and national outdoor outfitters that are planning to participate tomorrow night, planning to support the project, and we couldn't be happier for the amount of interest that this has shown. So again, come out and join us tomorrow night. I think it'll be fun. We might even have some door prizes to give away. So.
Pass the bucket tomorrow while you're there.
We'll try. That is actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. We've actually had a lot of interest and already started reaching out, especially to those like bike part manufacturers. And we're having those national and state stakeholder groups that are coming in to participate in this design workshop, they are bringing with them their chief fundraising people. And so we are heavily looking into how we can raise funds to cover the cost. of the
Have
bike
you
park.
invited the neighbors around the area there?
We did. All the neighbors got a personal invitation in the mail,
Okay.
so.
Good.
Let's see. That is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Any questions for Kevin from the board? Okay. Any questions from the public? Okay. Next up will be Planning Department, Ben Bontrager.
Good evening, board members. Kevin gets to talk about fun stuff like a bike park, but I'll talk a little bit about some of the construction activity that's going on. Planning department continues to remain busy, still doing, 4, 5, 6 building inspections a day. Some days a totally full schedule, so that's pretty good for in the wintertime. We did issue a number of new permits, including 4 new residential homes in the last couple of weeks, and 3 of those are in Sunbrook subdivision. Those are the first permits that have been issued in that neighborhood in the first section. Some of you may have seen that they've got some advertising along the interstate at all for that neighborhood, so they are up and running, and they've got lots available out there. On code enforcement side, again, still remain very strong activity around the city. I remember we talked last time, we did over 1,700 code enforcement cases last year, so the activity is still strong going into this year. And Maqueta's getting out a lot on a number of variety of issues. In terms of construction activity, again, I mentioned Sunbrook has their first section underway. We expect to see the project on South Lebanon Street, the mixed-use project that we've been looking at for about a year and a half. We're really hoping to get that project agreement finalized very soon. And they're expecting to file their plans for that by the end of the month for the March Plan Commission meeting. So we should see some strong activity going there early spring, late spring. So that's good news. And then tonight at the council, we're introducing a plan unit development ordinance for a 2,000-acre mixed-use development south of town along the interstate. So very, very large, very significant, very impactful project for the community. There will be an industrial zoning district and over that development. There will be commercial, retail, and office development. They'll have a little village center that serves the area, and then also a golf course community and residential development around that. So very significant opportunity here for the city, and that will be introduced tonight at the council meeting. And that's really all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ben. Any questions for Ben from the board? Anything from the public? Okay. Next up is Street and Stormwater Department. Dave Newell.
Good evening. Let's see, we've been about wrapped up picking up Christmas trees, but we got a few people that hang on to them. I don't know. We'll keep going until they're done. Still cleaning off some drains. We try to stay ahead of the storm, the rains and stuff. Had a few sign repairs. Most of those seem to come from the roundabout this time. It's, got slick, I guess, and one of them we still haven't figured out how they bent it that way, but hey, we repaired it. That did give us a chance to put up our new tiger signs out there, though, so.
Okay.
The crew was out Sunday morning for some ice on the roadway. Thanks to Chad and his guys for, I think Phelps called us, and, they're kind of our eyes at night, so I get up so many hours, but they really help us out, and we appreciate that. But most of it was, like I said, was just ice. We wanted to beat the churches and stuff out for people to just make the town safe. That event cost us about almost $3,000, so it gives you an idea. That's just salting, so gives you a rough idea about what it costs, when we do go out. We've just been cleaning up the trucks and around the shop as well, trying to stay busy. Just waiting on the weather. We're not complaining by any means, but we only received 39 calls since our last Board of Works meeting, which that's good. 2 of those for brush, still. 10 of those for recycling, 3 for our Christmas trees, had 3 walk-ins, 2 for our snow and ice, which one of those was the other night event. 10 Facebooks for various reasons, and to be honest, most of those were super positive after our last event, bragging on our community, telling how we put us up against anybody, and that's good to hear the guys, doing all that. And had a couple from Miller Woods, which that was just when it was flooding in there. We had a drain issue with residents that used to clean it out. Now they don't want them to, so we just had to make sure we're getting it. A few dead animals and 3 thank yous. On that note, also, I'd like to thank the crew, because it's early in the morning Sunday, they drop whatever they're doing, their plans, and they always come through for us and come out. And if we call them at night and they're eating supper, they drop what they're doing, and so we got a good crew, and I hope everybody appreciates them. And that's all I got.
Dave, I have a quick question for you. It's kind of a random thought when you were talking about recycling. Can residents sign up for recycling online, or do they have to call your office?
Usually they call and they send them down to us. Usually they call the utilities somehow, or they'll come to us. But yeah, I don't know why people don't do it. It's $2.
But is there but there's no way to do it, sign up for it online though,
Not
right?
that I'm aware of, no. They usually go through us, and then we go through Razor.
So just was curious, had a question. So.
Yeah.
And that's the fee, $2?
Yeah, it's
month,
just
yeah.
$2 a month on your bill. We do it ourselves, and I know I've went down from overfilling the trash can to having 2 bags in it.
Right.
Any other questions from the board?
Have you got a date on the spring cleanup yet?
First, I don't know it off the top of my head, but I'll get it.
Okay.
In the spring.
Got an old TV I need to get rid of. Got an old TV I need to get rid of.
Yeah, well, not there. We don't
Yeah, you
take
can't
them
do
now.
spring cleanup anymore.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. You got
No, it's
Let me know where I need to take it, will you?
e-waste now.
Just get a hold of Ray's.
Okay.
It's an e-waste, so they gotta get rid of it a certain way now.
Yep.
Oh, thanks for getting that hold on 250 for me.
Hey, you're welcome.
It's funny because I travel through communities, our neighbors and so forth, and I keep going down this one street and I keep seeing this one hole and I keep thinking, well, call Dave, he'd take care of it.
City
Thanks.
limits only, Dick.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave. And then I believe Joe's out, but Kevin has his report tonight.
Communications report for tonight. Released today, the next Lebanon Legends video has been posted. This is featuring actor and writer Drew Powell. Drew is a Lebanon High School graduate. You may have seen him on roles in The Office, Malcolm in the Middle, The Mentalist, and Gotham. So we invite everyone to check out that podcast and learn more about Drew, funny stories from home and his life in Hollywood at this point. You can find that video on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the city's public access channel. Also, in that vein, the next Love in Lebanon podcast, episode 24, is getting ready to come at you. This one is featuring Isaac Harker. Isaac is a current professional quarterback in the Canadian Football League. So you can hear more about his journey from Lebanon High School through college and now in the pros. So check that out. Isaac Harker, the Harker family, they're just great people. Really excited to see him succeed. So check out that episode number 24 of the Love in Lebanon podcast. And last but certainly not least, the 4th annual Savor Lebanon event is coming up on February 29th. This is a craft beer and wine and food festival featuring live music by Darlington Road. Tickets are now on sale, and that is held at the Boone County 4-H Fairgrounds.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. I don't want to ask you any questions with the Communications Department, but anything from the board?
Nope.
Public? Okay, thank you very much. That concludes department head reports. We'll move on to old business now. First item up is a change order request for the Memorial Park restroom. This is Kevin as well.
Yes, thank you. I should have just stayed up here. I think this is the third time we've had this change order on your agenda, and we've continually tabled it. We've been in a lot of negotiation with the contractor, a lot of back and forth, making sure that we're getting fair pricing on these things. So I'm happy to now finally present this to you. This is change order number 1, but I will expect that this is, I shouldn't say the only change order, right? You never say that. But this one encompasses a lot of stuff. Stuff that we found in the design, stuff that as we went through construction, we wanted to change, some unforeseen conditions that are included in here, a lot of stuff. And I can cover those with you if you'd like. The total is $64,214. And that covers, we've got it broken down into 23 different item numbers. One is the removal of an old septic tank. Number 2, the cost of the removal of the old septic tank was $2,558. There was some additional exploration of the gas line along State Road 39 that had to be done, again, an unforeseen condition. That was for $1,700 for that exploration work. Number 3 is revising the maintenance building floor to 8-inch thick concrete. We, working with Parks Department staff, felt as though we needed to upgrade that design to account for how they may use the building in the future to accommodate some heavier equipment, and that was for $1,098. Number 4 was to add a concrete slab for the dumpster to sit on. It was originally planned to just sit in the parking lot.
Before we keep going on, I know we have 23 items, so are there any questions about maybe a specific item from the board for Kevin?
No.
That we don't have to go through every single one in detail that way?
Okay.
Any questions, concerns about the change order request? Okay. Would, at this time, entertain a motion to approve change order number 1 for the Memorial Park restroom?
I make a motion, we approve change order number 1 for a dollar amount of $64,214.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Subject to legal review and your approval.
Yeah, you want to amend your motion to make that subject to legal review and
Okay,
and
and,
by authorizing me to sign on your behalf?
Subject to legal review and the mayor's signature.
Okay. We have a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that change order is approved. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
And I appreciate your time working through that one. That was a long one, and I know it looked like a good price for us finally, so.
Well, I can't take all the credit. I appreciate all the help from John Messenger and his staff, as well as Dan Sokoski with Kramer, our inspector on the job. They've all put in a lot of heavy lifting to get us to this point, and I appreciate you for not making me read all 23 different items.
You're welcome. All right, that concludes what I have for old business on my agenda. Is there anything from the board? Okay, move on to new business then. Next up is the Downtown Streetscape Big 4 Trail Project, the Meridian Street light change order.
Yeah, this is relatively straightforward. This is a change order for the downtown project. I should also step back a minute just to let the public know that change order that we just approved on the park restroom, we had a budget to account for change orders just as that, and so we are well still within our budget that was allocated for the project.
Right.
On that note, that's what I was getting ready to say on this one. Again, this is within the budget that we've allocated for the downtown project, but as we were working on the Meridian Street sidewalks, and we added into that sidewalks with the previous change order that you approved, the addition of streetlights. As we were putting in those streetlights, well, we've got a lot of old wiring in our city, and a lot of interesting circuitry. And as we got into that project, there became a necessity to compensate the contractor for the additional electrical work that was associated with that. This total change order here is for $1,829.65, and again, it's for lighting associated, actually, it's just for the electrical work associated with the lighting on the Meridian Street project.
What was that dollar amount again, Kevin?
$1,829.65.
Any questions, discussion about that change order? This time, they would entertain a motion to approve that change order, subject to final legal review and authorizing me to sign on your behalf.
I'll make a motion, we approve change order number 5 on the Big 4 Trail Project, Meridian Street lighting, the amount of $1,829.65, subject to legal review and signing by the mayor, please.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, that change order is approved. Next up is the Christopher Burke MS4 contract.
Yes, this is a contract with Christopher Burke for the professional services they offer for the management of our stormwater management program. Burke has been doing this service for the city for a number of years. This involves assisting the city with facility inspections, conducting staff training related to stormwater issues, assisting with development projects, private development projects, as well as city projects, record keeping, activity documentation. This is involved with aiding the city with any of our stormwater discharge, permitting, and industrial activities. Ongoing engineering and planning support for these issues. as well as then advising us on stormwater quality, floodplain and floodway management issues, and other duties in that vein as needed, as necessary. The total contract price is for $35,000, again, for Christopher Burke for our NPDES Phase 2 assistance of our stormwater management program. And we've...
Dick, you were kind of the Stormwater Board President for a while. Anything you want to say on this contract?
Excuse me?
Anything you want to say? You were the Stormwater
No,
Board President?
we hired them at the very beginning, years ago, and they've been working with the city for years doing this. They do this, besides us, they do this for several different counties and cities across the state of Indiana. You couldn't, these are the guys that do it.
Okay.
So, yeah, I would make that motion, we approve the contract here for Christopher Burke, engineering, subject to attorney's review, and authorize the mayor to sign once he gives approval.
We have a motion. I'll take a second.
Do we have a copy of that contract?
Does anybody, I've not seen it.
I don't see it either.
Okay, I apologize. I thought it was sent in for the distribution with the agendas, if that didn't make it.
Sent out, okay.
So
Yeah,
I'll
I
get that
didn't see
to
it,
you.
But I thought that maybe I didn't get sent out.
If you would prefer, we can table this and do it.
That one until
That's
we,
fine.
okay, so let's.
I'll make a motion, we table
Motion
till the
table?
next meeting.
All right, we'll have that to the next meeting. Sorry about that, clerk, but that fixed for you guys. Okay, that's all from Kevin. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next up is the surplus request. First is the police department, Chief Morgan. I see these cars are after I graduated college, so I appreciate that. We're not 2007s anymore.
Yeah, right.
Well, tonight we have 3 2014 Dodge Chargers that we would like to surplus. I don't know, do you need the mileage or anything else like that?
No, the board has a copy of what you have, and if the board has any questions on these, if not, I would make a motion that we declare these 3 Dodge Chargers, all 3 are 2014 surplus, and they'll be traded to Enterprise Leasing on the trade-in program.
Okay. Any questions for that? Okay. Would entertain, or Bill made the motion to declare the vehicle surplus. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Judge McClure. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, those 2014 Dodge Chargers have been declared surplus. Thank you, Chief. I believe we have some Park Department vehicles and equipment as well, too, John?
Yes, thank you. Good evening. In front of you is all the surplus items that we have, Case Tractor and its equipment, and mowers. I think it's all in front of you.
Right, the board also has a copy of all these.
Yes.
Some of these will be replacement trade-ins, and
Yes,
others will
actually,
just be
trade-ins, yes.
surplus.
Yes, it will, yeah.
Okay, does the board have any questions on any of these surplus Parks Department equipment?
2005, that's before I graduated high school. Point that out.
Yeah.
Any questions from the board? Okay. We entertain a motion to declare the street, or Parks Department equipment surplus.
I make a motion, we declare the Parks Department surplus equipment.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, those are declared surplus. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
And thank you, Bill, for, as always, for doing all the paperwork on those and keeping that straight for us. That concludes what I have for new business. Anything from the board? Okay, we'll move on to claims then, and would entertain a motion concerning the claims.
I make a motion, we approve the claims.
We have a motion to pay the claims. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, claims are approved. There was a slight mistake on the agenda when it was posted. The next meeting actually will be at 5:30, not at 6:15. We're doing this alternating where the second meeting of the month is pushed back, so we need to fix the agenda. So the notice will be Monday, February 10th at 5:30 PM for the next Board of Works meeting. So with that, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Motion adjourned. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Thanks for watching. City Council's up next.